It's close to midnight. Something evil's lurking in the dark. It's that season of the year, my favourite season of the year, Halloween. That means it's time to dress up, it's time to get spooky, and over here at Talks with Dorks, it's time to do another top five. Fuck off, Tony. It's over here to do another top five, and this time it's top five horror movies or horror franchises. We've got Scott, we've got LaFerd, and Tony making his return as well. Hi guys, are you excited to do a top five of your favourite horror movies? Do you like horror movies? Oh, actually, we should ask the question.
What's your favourite scary movie?
I love that everyone pause, hoping I can get that video in there, otherwise it's just going to be a really awkward silence. Right, come on in. Scott, I'm pretty sure you're a horror fan because your background. Tony, LaFerd, what about you? Do you like horror films? Do you like scary movies? Do you like being shaken to the bone?
Watch a few. I mean, I wouldn't know as many as you guys, but I reckon I could name a few.
Yeah, don't bank on that, mate. Yeah, no, I enjoy horror films. I feel like I enjoy the idea of them more. There's not many films that have actually scared me. And, I mean, do horror films actually scare anyone anymore?
Have you seen Paranormal Activity?
Have you seen The Conjuring?
Yeah, I was going to say. There's a
What have you been watching? Ghostbusters?
And Gremlins.
To be fair, Ghostbusters, you know what I mean, that librarian as a kid. Ghostbusters 2. Jim, have you all seen Ghostbusters 2? You know that bit where they're walking down the train tracks in the tunnel and get hit by the ghost train? I didn't watch that scene until I was 24. I used to watch it like that.
Yeah, that was pretty
Mate,
cool.
there's scenes in other films that aren't horrors that definitely made me do that as a kid. Like in Willy Wonka when they go on the boat ride.
Oh, that's a strange film. That's a horror film in itself.
Or when in Bill and Ted, I forget which one, but they have some weird time lapse going on, and then they're getting chased through air vents by bunnies and their grandma. That was scary as shit.
That's the second one, Bogus Journey. That film is a bit freaky, isn't it, for a film that was critically panned? It's fucking freaky as fuck. But top five horror franchises, obviously, we've almost got a full team. Woody's not here, but luckily Woody will be involved because once we've wrapped up our top fives, I've actually got a video from Woody to tell us his top five because he couldn't miss out on a top five.
And we just all agree with his picks and think they're fantastic, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretend he's involved. Like, yeah, really good. I mean, chances are his top five might be. We've said them all throughout here because there's four of us doing this live, so there's total of 20 franchises. I feel like there's probably only going to be about 7 franchises between the four of us. Probably all the same.
I said this already. Like the 5 that I've picked, I obviously know that there's more, but there probably isn't that many more than that I can think of anyway. Like I've got 5 strong
You'd be
ones,
surprised.
but yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm hoping that you guys say other ones, then I'm like, yeah.
I don't know. We've just since we've been together, we've already named a couple, and I'm like, yeah, that's on my list.
Yeah, to me.
Yeah.
Right, let's start with your top fives, and seeing as LaFerd is down there in the corner and he looks the most bored out of the three of you, I will give LaFerd. He's got his vision. LaFerd, what is your number 5 on your list?
Number 5, sir, it's not. As you can see, the Resident Evil poster behind Scott, but I actually prefer the series on Netflix.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the series is much better.
Underrated, yeah.
It's more of a.
As well.
It's more like the games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I
Their
actually really
movies are
enjoyed
good. The movies are good, but like they fucked themselves in the first one because then they were after just trying to add stuff from the game. It's like no, you've fucked it.
Yeah, messed up.
And they still did about 7 of them trying to play catch up. Okay, Resident Evil the series, Resident Evil, great choice. Oh, why is that not on my list? Okay, Scott, number 5, give it to me.
Okay, so I've got like 2 that I had next to each other because I wasn't sure what number 5 would be. So I'm going to put this in number 5, and that is Saw. So the reason I say Saw in number 5 is because, for me, I really like the Saw films. Gory and just, I love the suspense of it. But it's gone on a little bit too long, I think.
It's not so much a horror as well, is it?
That's
It's
it.
more of a-
Yeah, that's why I've kept it down there because I was like, does it qualify? But I'm going for it.
Right, I've just got to point this out. My headphones have just decided to stop working. So, okay, Tony, give us your top 5, and I will plug my other headphones in.
Well, I will give anyone a Twix if they've actually seen this. It's called the McPherson tapes.
Heard of it. But never
What's this
seen it.
about?
It's a shaky cam film about a family in America, Thanksgiving, aliens land in their back garden.
I'm so glad you said this, and it's so weird you said this. Literally 3 days ago, me and my partner Heather, we was literally talking about this. I was like, we was talking about aliens, and I was like, there's a film that I watched, and I cannot for the life of me remember the name. So now that you have said that, oh my god, that is crazy. Great film.
Right? Okay, well, I owe you a Twix then. So, yeah, so, like, do you know what? It's not even that scary, and it's definitely not even that good. But the only time I watched it was I came home from a night out absolutely wankered, and I had work at 6 a.m, so I was just like, fuck it, I'll stay up and put Sky Movies on, and it was on at like 4 o'clock in the morning. And at the time, we was redecorating the house, so we didn't have any curtains facing the back garden. And I was just like so shook that these aliens were going to be there. And then I stumbled to work, and on the way to work, they were on a someone's garden wall, scrawled in lipstick, was "They're here." And I was like, why is that got to happen to me now? I was so fucking para. So it was more so the situation that shook me than the film. But yeah, man, you've heard of it. Sick.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that.
Never heard of it, but it sounds like something I'd watch. I've seen some like horror films that no one else heard of. Like there's The Haunting, where most people know of. Like The Haunting, I think that's the one with Catherine Zeta-Jones in. But there's a film called The Haunted that Ash showed me. It's typical Ash plug. Ash showed me, and mate, a guy gets raped by a ghost. It's fucked.
Jeez.
It's so fucked. Like it's really weird. Like the fact that he kind of lets it happen is weird. But okay.
It's a ghost, you can't stop it.
It's like it's one of them true stories. It definitely happened, babe. I was not sleeping with the babysitter. Number 5 for me was one that someone mentioned earlier. I think it was the third, Paranormal Activity, the series, because I don't know. Like I know, like technically the films got worse as they got on, but I was hooked by every single fucking one. There was something about them films that just kept me going all the way through and wanting to know more.
Yeah. What was the last one, by the way? Was it number 4?
Well, there was a 5th one. Is that the one? I think they got to number 5. There was the one that was kind of like a prequel one.
Was it in like,
With like the
Spain,
Mexican family? Is it a
yeah.
Mexican family? Yeah. And like somehow it links with that Katie from the first one.
Really? I've not seen that number 5, but damn.
Don't spoilers.
It's a comedy.
I might take the headphones off. You're all coming through me that PC. Can you hear yourselves, by the way?
No.
No.
That's really good then. Right, okay, number 4 is back to you, LaFerd. What you got?
So number 4 for me would be the Saw franchise. I think it was the first horror that I properly watched. And like you said, it's not actual horror, but as strange as it sounded, I found the story quite interesting. Like it was, because by the time I watched it, there was a few out, so you could sort of watch them back to back. Whereas I think if I'd have watched it where the first one came out and you got to wait a year or so for the next one, I don't think it would have been probably as good, because I could have binged it. It was a bit better.
Yeah, I agree.
Plus, I was
Another one of those Saw, in it. The way the more the more it goes on and the more it goes, and you go back, like you get to the 5th one, and the guy that was in the 5th one is the fucking bad guy now. You're like, what the
yeah.
Like, is anyone in this world not working for him?
Yeah, like the guy's got you to cut your own leg off. Why would you be helping him?
Yeah,
A bit
mate.
far.
But it's like basically saying, isn't it? Like they understand his logic.
Yeah.
It's like a cult, really. It turns into basically like a cult. Scott, while you're down in your drink, you are up next. What's your number 4?
All right, number 4 is Insidious. Don't know if anyone else
Great
is a fan
movies.
of that. Yeah, it gets a lot of stick, Insidious. a few people that I see when the last one come out were like, they should stop making these films, but I absolutely love the films. I went and saw the last one in the cinema, and I think they're planning on making another one, which I will be going to see. But yeah, I just love the little, like, the jumps are coming, but it still gets me. I love them.
Every time.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you're going to see. I think that's what fucks you sometimes, isn't it? You don't know what to expect. I always get the Conjuring and Insidious confused. Conjuring's the one with, like, the Warrens and all that, isn't it? And Insidious is the one with that old lady I met, she was in the first. There's like the...
Annalise.
like an exorcist.
Yeah, Annalise.
Annalise, that's it.
Yeah,
mate. Absolute brilliant. That second one, I preferred... I love the second one.
Yeah, I love the second one.
It's so good how it goes back to that first one. You go...
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, the one in...
Like, you have to watch them back to back.
Yeah, in number 2, the bit that gets me is when the mum's in the front room, and then that ghost lady like appears, and she like slaps her, and then all the toys start going up, and I'm like, oh my god! It gets me every time.
Scary as shit.
Yeah, I love that.
Tony, number 4.
It's I don't know, how many films does it take to make a franchise? I don't know if this classes as a franchise. There's only 2 films, so they stopped. Unlike other horror films, they stopped before it got really shit. Which is Hills Have Eyes.
I've never seen them.
Me neither. I was about to say that. Never seen them.
LaFerd?
Oh, that was good.
Eyes and seeing in this. I don't know.
I know. It's a mortal enemy of mine.
Scariest film I've ever not seen.
I could just hear it, and it was just frightening.
I could just hear it.
I've seen the first one, and then I've seen a few people about that look like they should be in it. But
Do you
That's
think
my family, man.
the question I have, like, do you think full, like, 100% blind people get scared by scary movies? Could you get scared if you're not seeing the jump scare and it's just the sound?
I'd love to see a blind person read a Braille horror book. I'm allowed to say that, so we can't get cancelled.
To be honest, no, I would. I mean, because we're all laughing and joking, but honest to God, like, you imagine reading it. Like, we know it's like reading a book and being scared. I remember reading Goosebumps. Do you remember Point horror books, Tony? I don't know if the other boys remember them.
No,
They were like the step up from Goosebumps. You had Goosebumps by R.L. Stein, Fear Street by him as well, and then the step up was Point Horror. It was like teenage horror books. They were scary as fuck. I used to follow my mum around the house while I was reading it.
No, I don't remember those.
Oh no, yeah, they were good books. But
imagine these, mate.
Hills Have Eyes. What makes that on your list, Tone?
Just as I say, like, I think they're quite decent films, and they stopped before they got mega shit or become a parody of themselves. It was a different type of horror film. Like, it didn't really rely on sort of like jump scares or anything like that, and some of it, I don't know, like, there's something quite real about it. Same with the McPherson tapes. Actually, there's something like, not that it would happen, but could happen.
Yeah, going back to that McPherson tapes as well, what you're saying there, like, it could happen. I watched it when I was younger, indoors, home alone, and after watching it, I was like, that's going to happen to me.
Yeah.
I was like, I could tell.
Exactly, yeah.
I've watched it, it's going to happen now.
Absolutely. Number 4 for me, it chops and change number 4, but I settled on this one, Final Destination.
Oh.
Especially number 1. But I don't know if you all sort of look round. I think, has everyone got it on their list?
No, not mine.
I had it as
spoilers.
like another one to come in. That was like my sort of backup.
Honourable mention later on.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've seen them all, but like for me, number 1 and number 5 are the best, because number 5, like, I was watching a video on it the other day when someone was saying one of the best plot twists ever. If you haven't seen it, I won't mention it. But number 5, such a good ending.
Oh, you can see dead people, right?
You can see dead people. Yeah. That's the Sixth Sense. That should have been number 6, shouldn't it? The Sixth Sense meets Final Destination. Been a nice crossover.
I also like number 3 for Final Destination. That one always stands out for me. That's the
roller coaster.
Yeah. I watched
that the other day.
I think that was the first one I ever watched of the Final Destination franchise, and I was like, I'm going to investigate this a little more.
I mean, this is how old I am. I went to see number one at the cinemas in 1999.
Bloody hell.
God, you are old.
They're old. Yeah, it's something about them films. I don't know. They're just good. But we're at 15 minutes already, so we should. Right, number 3, Laferd.
Right, so this one is for me Slenderman.
Oh, I didn't
That's a
even think
film.
that.
Ooh.
I like. There's a few. They made a few films, like a fan-made film, but there's an official film on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I like the idea they've actually converted it from a game into a horror film, because the game is scary as shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the
Like,
first
you
horror
obviously-
games I played.
Yeah,
Scared
like
me.
you obviously know what to expect, and it's so basic. But the fact that they made it a film that's still got the jump scares, even though you know what to expect. And let's face it, a tall guy, pale as fuck, bald in a suit, it is Moon. Like what else could you need in a horror film? You've got Moon as the main character.
To be fair, if I took my hat off, me and Tony could probably go as a couple of slender men as well. We've got that same look. I'm literally trying to look like Tony now. I just won't embrace the shape in my head.
Is that why the hat's on?
Really? Sure.
I missed you so much over the last 6 weeks that I've literally cut my beard out, made it dark to look like you, and I'm just like, I'll just wear a hat, a woolly hat instead of going bald. Nah, on purpose. Right,
Ryan,
Scott, go on.
the woolly hat will only speed up the process, mate.
Everything's been speeding up the process, Tone. Me spraying my hair on 5 times a week doesn't help either, all the chemicals. And it's raining season, so hat weather is all the time, because otherwise I end up walking down the street, mate. It gets wet and also I look like Ron Member a Kiss. Right, Scott, number 3.
All right, number 3. So this is I've only just watched this. Again, it's only 2 movies, but a third one is coming out, so it is a franchise, I would say. Is the Terrifier movies. Has anyone seen them?
No, but no, I've heard of them. They're good, are they?
Big on my list. Big on my list.
Yeah. So I watched these, I'd say 3 weeks ago. I watched the first one and I was like, holy shit. But I did think the first one, the clown was brilliant, but the rest of the actors were B-Tech actors. They were terrible. And then in the second movie, they upped it and obviously got proper actors in for it. But yeah, I mean, I won't say too much, but there's a scene in the second one that I was sitting there. I don't get like freaked out or grossed out with horror movies, but this, I sat there and I was like, I need therapy. It was insane. I was like, what the hell? This is more than overkill. It was ridiculous. I don't know. Has anyone seen the Terrifier 2 movie?
No, I've not seen.
No, I've not seen either.
one, too.
God, yeah. I mean, it's a great movie franchise. Number 3 is coming out in October. I'm gonna go see that. But yeah, really good movie. Really, there's nothing that like makes you jump. There's like a couple of moments that shouldn't have made me jump, but did make me jump. But it's more just like really creepy with the clown and just very suspense. And I just love that kind of like horror. That it didn't need to have jump scares in it. It was just freaky in itself. So yeah, that's number 3 for me.
Tone.
Man, 3 was hard for me. Number 2 and 1 was set. Number 3, I couldn't decide. I'm going to go with Insidious, but all the others are going to be in my honourable mentions.
Right, okay. Interesting. My number 3 is the man that I couldn't even look at in a magazine when I was a kid without shitting myself. King 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. Nightmare on Elm Street. Like them films, and my favourite by all means, if anyone's ever seen it, is New Nightmare.
Was that one of the newest ones?
It was in '96. It's basically in this. The basis of it, without spoiling too much, if you've not seen it, is it's set in the real world. So it's the cast in it is the cast from the film playing themselves,
Oh, that's pretty cool.
and it's basically the idea that he was always real,
Oh, wow.
and he's like a scarier looking Freddy. He's like it's not a glove, it's his hand.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's
I've
fucking.
never seen.
That's the first one I saw.
Yeah, I've never seen them, but it's on my watch list this Halloween. I'm watching it because, yeah, I've tried to get through as many Halloween film like classics as I could, and last year, and then that was the one that I didn't get to. But yeah, it's first on the list this year.
All Halloween month is Halloween movie for me. Right, that was number 3s. We're down to number 2s. The third. Where would you go with number 2?
So you guys heard of the film called The Strangers?
Yes,
Not the new one that came out a couple of months
the
ago.
original.
Yeah, the original. That was. I think when I watched that, I was kind of young, so I'm thinking this could actually happen. This is like serious business. You could just be out somewhere and someone in a mask watching you.
Yeah, it's freaky.
And yeah,
I like the idea of what people find. We've all got a similar taste of what we find scarier.
the more realistic ones. That
Yeah.
The more realistic.
I think you just relate to it more.
Yeah, and I'll come back to that. But like, I mean, technically, and I've looked down this, there's only one real ghost one. I actually love my favourite kind of ones that really get me are ghost films.
I do like it
Because with the ghosts, it's always the unknown, isn't it? Are they real or are they not? So you laying in your house at night, you hear a creak, it's a ghost.
Yeah, it's your first film.
Yeah.
So it's that. But yeah, but then realistically, the scary ones are the ones that could actually fucking happen. Right, Scott, number 2.
Okay, so number 2 is The Conjuring. That's the first film. So I saw number 1 when I was like 16 or 17. No, that's been about 17, yeah. And as the credits come up, my friend looked around and I was out. I was like, that has freaked me out. And then, yeah, I just remember that everyone saw it when it first come out, and like everyone would just try and screw with you and do the whole like behind you. Oh, it used to freak me out. But yeah, the Conjuring movie, I've seen all of them, and yeah, I really do enjoy them ones. And it's kind of like in the like unknown as well, with like the demonic possession and things like that. Like especially, I don't want to
Because
like,
it's meant to be true.
Yeah, when it says like based on the true, a lot of people will be like, oh yeah, that's bullshit. But my head just straight away is like, I need to go look this up at home. Just start researching everything about it.
There's one that mentions Langdon, because there was the werewolf of Langdon.
Yeah.
So like Basildon's mentioned in the Conjuring movies. That's so random.
Yeah, that's such a random location.
But me and Ash remember them stories growing up. Like, you don't go up Nicholas Hill because the werewolf will get you.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Like, we had one of them in Basildon. You know what I mean? Now you go up there now, it's like, now the crackheads will get you.
Yeah. That was the werewolf back in the day.
Yeah. Just Sharon from number 5.
Yeah. Just finally had a shave now.
Yeah. Tone, what's your number 2?
Mother.
Oh, I like that.
Oh,
That's a creepy one. That is a creepy one.
that is really fucked.
Man,
Really
the anxiety I had watching that, because it's just the whole thing's just like an actual nightmare that you'd have, innit? So like, I felt the anxiety the whole way through, and I don't think a film's ever knackered me out like that. Like once it was over, I was just like, oh, thank fuck! Like not in a bad way. I needed a rest.
Yeah, that is a creepy film.
Yeah, really good film.
Yeah.
It's like that Teeth, innit? Like I don't know why that weren't on anyone's list, but that Teeth. I've never watched a film and literally my balls just tingled the whole way through. Like, oh no,
Oh, no.
got a clamp on your vagina. Number 2 for me is the man and the movie franchise that is about the season we're in, Halloween. Michael Myers. I love Michael, and it was so close between 1 and 2, but the reason for number 1 is why it keeps number 1. But yeah, Halloween. Got to be the Halloween franchise. And the fucking maddest thing is, the one I saw first was Halloween H2O, which is like the worst one of the lot.
I've still not seen them either, Halloween movies.
Nah,
Yeah.
Mate, you got a lot to watch this year.
You should see. I'll share my Halloween watch list with you. I'll show you. It's pretty impressive. But yeah, I've not seen them, but I have seen a clip of it. Again, this was the very first time I've ever been introduced to horror. I remember me and my dad was at home. Everyone was out, nighttime, of course. And like the movie was like halfway through, and we're watching it. Again, I was probably like 14, maybe. And I'm watching it, and it freaks me out a little, this clip. Anyway, I went upstairs, and then my dad was like, I'm going to go pick your mum up now. And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, he's going to come, he's going to get me. But yeah, I need to actually watch the movies now.
Right, this is it. This is the big moment. What is your favourite horror franchise of all time? Number 1, the big one, the third. What scared you the most?
It.
Yeah, that's on my honourable mentions.
It scared me the first time, but the second time I actually found the story quite interesting.
Yeah, I thought that too. I thought the number 2 story had like a lot going
Yeah.
for it. Yeah.
Are you talking the originals or the newer ones?
The more modern ones.
Yeah.
See, yeah, the more modern ones are more obviously story, like book faithful. The original ones, obviously, that's the ones I grew up with. They were the ones that scared me. Again, like Freddy, I couldn't see him because I was petrified. Absolutely
Actually, I got a
petrified
tattoo
of
of
him.
Pennywise on the back of my neck. Like his face just in my neck.
On your neck?
Oh,
On the back of my neck. Like
Holy
here, yeah.
shit. That's
But I
pretty
never
cool.
have to see it.
Yeah.
that,
Just someone waiting in the line behind you, like, oh shit.
When I was getting it done, I was winding my mum telling her I was going to get it here. She was
Oh.
like, "You are not getting that on your Adam's apple."
I think if you watch the originals, what made me like later on down the line go, this ain't that scary, is when you watch the originals and you see him turn into a spider at the end, and it's the worst looking spider you've ever
Yeah.
seen. It is like, what the fuck? Why is the clown scary? If that's his scary form. No, you're all right, Scott. I bet I know what's going to be said here, but tell us your favourite horror franchise of all time. Actually, Scott has asked the question. What's your favourite scary movie?
I love that. Scream. Again, I only watched this last year and I fell in love with it. Honestly.
Wow.
It is probably up there, one of my favourite like movie franchises. I've got the since I watched it, I ordered that poster, I put it up, and I ordered the whole box set. Got it upstairs on Blu-ray.
Nice.
And I just love it. It's so good. Like the way that, and again, like with the stories, it feels like it just gets better and better. But it's rinse and repeat, but just in different little ways. And it just gets me every time. Like it's so good. I love the suspense. I love the phone calls. I love
It's
when
the
it's
guessing,
revealed.
isn't it?
Yeah,
The more that they come out, the more you start like from the beginning going,
yeah,
trying to look for clues of who's the killer.
yeah. I absolutely love it.
Tone, number one.
Friday 13th.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
It was my introduction into horror. Never seen a horror before, and the first one I saw, I can't remember the number, but it was Jason Goes to Manhattan, where he starts off on the
8.
boat and then there you go, and then goes around New York. Yeah, that was my introduction.
Do you know what's really fun? Do you know what my first one I watched was? Number 7. Which they obviously like that. It was number 7, and then I remember going to Ashes and we watched number 8. I'm like, right, what's next? Jason Goes to Hell. Fuck yeah! It was like 10 years later that I discovered that he weren't even the original killer. Spoilers.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, number one is almost a completely different film from all the rest. Like, completely different story. Obviously, not spoiling, in case no one's ever heard of it. Jason is the killer now. But yeah, it's, like you started way in this franchise, watched the first one. I was like, how does this connect? Like watching it and then, it's easy. Actually, maybe for an interesting note, Friday 13th might be the anomaly where the first film is the worst one.
It doesn't actually really kick in until he gets the mask, which is like 3 or even 4.
Exactly, yeah.
Look at you youngsters over here going, what? Jason doesn't. There's
guys on about.
like the first film, Jason Voorhees isn't in the first Friday the 13th, other than like basically a flashback.
Yeah, I think I've only seen like the most recent one. I think.
Yeah, like the remake and that.
Yeah.
Where I think if I remember the most recent one, like they briefly do the first one and it's straight into the second one. It's Jason, then he's got the hockey mask, but like he did not get the hockey mask until 3, but he's synonymous with the hockey mask.
Yeah,
it's mad.
And
But
don't watch
one,
Jason Goes to Space or Jason X or whatever it's called.
Space.
I love that film. That's just Uber Jason is the best figure. He basically gets a CGI upgrade, turns into like a robot. It's genuinely as bad as it sounds, and it was like 1999, like when they shouldn't be doing these films anymore. But led into Freddy versus Jason. So
That was a good film, yeah.
I love that film. Right, have we done everyone's number ones except for mine?
Yours.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my number one is Scott's number one, and I've been giving you hints the whole way through.
Nice, I like that.
Scream. My origin goes back to 1998 when I first moved to Dagenham. My first sleepover with my friends,
Oh,
We watched Scream, and at that point, and now I said that couldn't look at Freddy, couldn't all that. It was that film that made me realise I could watch the others, because Scream scared the shit out of me, because as we've all said, it's the one that it's happening in fucking London and fucking around the streets now. Like Stab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are out. It's happening on the streets out there. So like it can happen, and all it takes is a fucking movie nut or someone just to think I'm gonna go fucking kill people. And I got obsessed with it, like over obsessed. So it made me be able to go back and watch the others and realise it. You know, these are the ones that can't happen. Freddy Krueger can't realistic, but it's still scary. But I can watch it. Scream. When I say I became obsessed, like people knew me as the Scream guy. I used to, every school book I had Scream symbols, like the face. I had the mask. I had the voice changer. The knife that bled. The mask that bled.
It's funny
I had it
that
all.
we're kind of like, with how Scream is, there's like, Scream is the movie we're watching, Stab is the movie that they are watching.
They're watching.
And it's like, we're now like taking that on. It's like a movie in a movie in a movie, yeah. I love it.
So that was our top fives. Because we are really over the mark. It was meant to be 20 minutes. We've done 31. I'll share a screen and we will show you what Woody. Can you see this? Is it what's happened here? Oh no.
Nope.
Entire screen. That one. Share. You should be able to see it any second. It seems to be working well slow. There we go. You see it?
yeah.
Right, let's find out what Woody's top five are.
So, boys, I couldn't make it to the recording, but I thought I would tell you my top 5 horror franchise, and yeah, I'm excited to see what you boys have picked. So, my number 5 is Paranormal Activity.
Same as mine.
Number 4, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Forgot
Number
about that.
3, the It movies, absolutely love them. Number 2, Scream, absolutely amazing. And my number 1 is the Saw franchise.
Ooh,
I
number 1.
absolutely love that. I dressed up as that for Halloween a couple of times. So yeah, that is my top 5 horror movie franchises. I'm excited to see what yours are, boys.
No, Woody.
There he is. So we've actually the first time we've got all 5 of us in one bit of content. It's great. Obviously great choices by Wood and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Until I watched that video earlier, I hadn't even thought of Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Jeepers Creepers is another one.
Yeah, there's
I love Jeepers Creepers. Right, because we're running over time and we want to record an episode. Quick honourable mentions. I've got obviously Conjuring, Insidious. I know we did last summer because I love them films. The Blair Witch, fucking love them films, and including number 2 that no one else liked. I haven't seen the most recent one. And another one which probably isn't considered, may not be considered a franchise because there's only 2 films, but I go by 2 films and a theatre play, and it's the play that I see first, The Woman in Black.
yeah.
If you've seen the films, they'll scare you. If you've seen the fucking play, you'll have nightmares for years. Trust me.
I want to see this so badly.
Oh mate, it's so good, so fucking good.
I'm gonna
Right,
look
anyone
it.
else got any honourable mentions?
I do.
Go
Evil,
on then.
Evil Dead.
Nice.
Good films, like them.
Tone?
Yeah, mine. Human Centipede, mainly the second one. Don't Breathe,
What are we doing? Horror
and
films, not your porn videos.
mate, again, Human Centipede, the first one, scientifically could happen, right? So that's why that's scary, and not at all arousing. And then lastly, Arachnophobia, just because fuck that, man. It's not even a horror film. I don't know if it's a horror film, but fuck it, man. Just burn it.
Yep.
Oh,
I need that.
There's one.
you have heard our. Go
Sorry,
on.
there's just one that I'm sure that none of you have seen. So this was, I think, more of like an independent movie, but it was in the cinema for like a week. It's called In a Violent Nature. Don't know if anyone... No? Really cool.
Not here.
It's basically from the killer, like in a horror film's point of view, and it's quite slow. Like, you have to have a lot of like patience, I'd say, to watch it. It's quite slow, but it is so interesting because you're basically just watching the killer. So like, you know, in horror films, it's like you're in the perspective of the people that are getting killed normally, and it's quite jump to the next scenes. This one, it's like you watch the killer rise from the ground, walk in, stalking them, and then like actually killing them, and then just leaving and walking away. It's really cool. I'd recommend it, but you just got to have a lot of patience.
Nice. I'm going to see this list of yours, what you've watched and not seen. Laferd, have you got any honourable mentions?
Hostel, Wrong Turn, and Mirrors.
Oh, Hostel, great series of films. Absolutely love them films. Right, you've heard our top fives. Hopefully, you've given us yours in the comments. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share, tell your mates, tell your friends, tell your mum, tell your dad. I don't care. Just tell everybody about the Talks with Dorks. I'm Ryan. There's Scott. There's Laferd. There's Tony. Boys, happy Halloween.
Fuck Halloween.
Whoa.
Woody's got his elf outfit. That's why he's not here.
See you later.